Alright, so since I've started this channel, I've spoken to you about all the crazy things that have been happening in AI, especially around text to text, or text to image, or text to video. But one of the things I have not done is talk about text to music. Now, that's what we're going to talk about in this video. Alright, so let's talk about AI music. Now, we have seen early on in the year where people have generated like voice clones of artists and have made or produced music on top of the music that they have. Like, so you have a track, and on top of that track you voice clone an artist and you kind of produce the music. But what we have been trying to see is that can we actually produce actual music or background tracks with AI? And a lot of folks have been experimenting around it for almost a year, but now we are starting to see it mature a little bit. So in this video I'm going to talk to you about 3 distinct projects where we can use text to generate music, or new techniques to generate AI music, which is really cool and unique and allows you to kind of do things a certain way. Alright, so one of my biggest gripes with Google has been that pretty much every model that they have released, whenever I've used it, I'm generally not happy with the results I'm getting. Like initially when BART came out, it was 10 months ago, it felt it was good, but it was like way behind when it compared to ChatGPT or everything else that came after that, and they didn't evolve right. And they have this tendency to actually release a model or talk about a model in a blog, but we never get to play around with. Like regular people like us are never in the program, so we never get to test it. But what they have done with MusicFX is that they've brought this into AI Test Kitchen platform, which is like a place where you can experience the kind of the model because it's cooked enough that we can taste it, that kind of a model, that kind of a place. So what we are doing with MusicFX is basically you can add in a text, and that text is going to generate a sound, and that sound will have like 2 tracks, and we kind of play around with it. Alright, so here's what you have to do. Go to AI Test Kitchen with google.com, and once you go create an account there, you can actually go in and go select MusicFX, right? And once you go in, this is a very clean interface that you have where you can actually go in and type what kind of music you want. So basically text for the kind of music you want, and then you can just click generate. So here what I'm going to say is instrument background sound for a long walk on the beach, and we're just going to click tab and just say generate. And now it's going to take the time to generate this track. And what it's also doing is it's kind of taking the key words of this song or this text. All right, so here's this track. Let's listen to it. Alright, so that was good. It creates 2 options, right? So two tracks. So let's listen to the other one. That's not bad actually, but let's go play around with this and see what flexibility we have, right? So we can actually change background sounds to ocean waves or seagulls or wind chimes. So let's change it to wind chimes, and we say, how about we are in the mountains, right? So these are 2 things we can kind of play around with in this text prompt. So let's change that and let's listen to that. While that's going on, let me show you some other things. So you can go into settings actually, and there's so there's a seed parameter that you can keep, and you can also actually change the duration of the songs, or you can also click on loop to kind of loop the song up. So it seems like this has been generated. So let's just play with this now and listen to it. That's actually not bad. All right, let's listen to the other one. It's pretty neat actually. All right, so let's do this. Okay, let's say a rock track with guitars and bass at a concert with high energy to lift up the crowd. All right, so let's just ask for a rock track and let's see how this sounds like it. All right, so we can see that it selected some words here, and that's pretty interesting. That's pretty good actually. That's pretty awesome actually. Let's see. Okay, so we can change rock into pop, country, or jazz. We can change bass to saxophone, violin, or trombone. We can change guitars to main instruments. Concert can be changed into bedroom, studio, or opera house. High energy can be changed into insanely slow, normal speed, or fast. Really fast. Okay, that's interesting. And lift up the crowd can change into make you cry, make you laugh, or dance. Now this is pretty interesting. I mean, there's a lot of flexibility, right? Like in the text prompt. So this is pretty neat. So let's listen to the other option that was generated here. All right, so overall, I think this is pretty good, right? This is a great text to music solution that I've seen so far, and honestly, Google, good job for giving us something that we can play with. So pretty neat, actually. Alright, so the second project that I'm going to talk about is called Tracksy, that the people on Twitter introduced me to. And one of the fun things about this project is that it's really simple, and the UI allows you to go in and kind of select the mood or the kind of song you want to generate. So there's no requirement for you to write, a text, a whole prompt. All you have to do is what kind of mood you want, and then select the duration and kind of generates a song. So it's really simple. You can take some of these snippets out and put it into your background if you're a content creator, or if you want snippets of songs for things that you want to do for your video. So it's really simple, and it's less complex than what MusicFX does, but MusicFX definitely gives you more flexibility. Tracksy is still evolving, and it's pretty good project, so let's check it out. Alright, so here's what you have to do. You have to go to tracksy.ai, and once you create an account, there's a free option to create an account. What you have to do is you'll have this option to go to Tracksy Create. That's where we get to, and once you get there, select the genre or the mood. So you have ambient, bass, breakbeat, chill, classical, disco, and a bunch of different options, and then you have moods to select into, so what kind of mood you're in. So let's go heroic, and then we'll say, okay, I want a 15 second, 30 second, 45 second, and if you have a paid subscription, of course you can take a longer length. So here we're just going to select 15 seconds and then just say MP3, and it's going to take the time to kind of compose this track for you, and we'll have an entire mixed heroic track, which is a heroic mode, and we'll see how this kind of sounds like. So that'll be interesting. So this is the track, and let's kind of play it. It's actually exactly what we expect it to be. Like, it's a very heroic kind of track. It's pretty good, actually. Alright, so that's what I was kind of saying. Like, it's very simple UI, and of course you can go and check the pricing, and there's also a library. So it's pretty interesting. You can go switch around, play around with this if you want to. Still very simple. The attempt is to build a simple experience. Of course you don't have a lot of flexibility here, but still it's good enough for somebody who's trying to keep it easy, keep it simple. So pretty good, actually. Alright, so one of the most interesting things that you must have observed in these first two AI solutions is that you put a text and it produces a sound, but you have no control over what the sound looks like. You get a fully mixed sound, actually, in both Tracksy and in MusicFX. But what if you could actually kind of learn while you're listening? Like, when you have a band together, when somebody starts with the bass line and somebody starts adding drums to that, so the band kind of starts putting songs together by listening to each other, and kind of you play on it. What if an AI model can do that? And that's exactly what this model at Hugging Face that has been introduced by ByteDance does, where you can actually have a model, which this model is called StemGEN, that's listening to the musical context and then adding sound to that. And let's see how it kind of looks like. And this is like a 5-minute video, but I'm going to give you a small snippet of it, kind of see how it kind of builds together. But it's very interesting. This model is definitely the model that I would say serious people who are trying to do more things with music or with sound will kind of like to explore, where they have this initial musical context and then they can see how it kind of builds out. So more control, more versatility, and a really exciting model, actually. Alright, so here's the model that they shared on Hugging Face. It's shared by ByteDance, and as you can see, this model is called StemGEN, and it's a music generation model that listens. Okay, so the key thing here for you to understand is, like, there's a 5-minute demo that you can go and check out, but I'm going to kind of run it up, and we're going to see how it kind of sounds. So let's kind of expand this and let's listen to this. Right, so this is how it's beginning. So there's this one track where you have beat going, and you're switching up the style to hip hop, melodic, and high. So that's what's happening, and then you've enabled a second track, and now you can see that it's listening. All right. They're changing the delay and the reverb. All right, that's not bad. All right, so I'm going to speed it up a little bit. Now it's asking second track to listen. So the second track has started listening, and the first track that was listening has started producing. So I'm going to speed it up a little bit more. And now you can see that the third track has started to listen, and the previous track that was listening has started to produce some music as well. It's like light pads going on. That's pretty good. And you can see all the 4 tracks, and now different tracks are listening to each other. All right, so the cool thing about this so far in this demo is, of course, a long demo. So you have to see how each step is kind of taken, But what I liked about this is that you can see that you have an interface in which you have multiple layers, and each layer, after at least the first layer, is able to listen and kind of compose music on top of it. Of course, it's not really groundbreaking music, right? But it's still something. The idea is you have musical context to kind of learn what the tracks are kind of sounding like, and then add on top of that. And you can see there are flexibilities around delay, reverb, and filters, which is really cool. We don't have that flexibility in other models. So I definitely feel like this is probably the model when it's put together in a way that I have access to it, is what I'm going to start trying, and that's what will give me the most flexibility, and it is the one that's going to make me most excited for the kind of workflows I have around music that I want to do. So still really good, really positive. I hope you've enjoyed this. It's really exciting. Alright, so it goes without saying that these are just version 1s, right? 2023 is where we are kind of getting the appetizer. But 2024 is going to be really wild, where I feel like all of these tools and these AI techniques are going to mature a little bit more, and we'll see what else can be done. I am most excited personally for the last model that I spoke to you about, that is StemGEN, which allows you to kind of have the flexibility to kind of tune the track exactly the way you want it. Well, of course, it's a model that is listening to the musical context, so it's going to produce a different type of music. Whereas other ones are where you kind of put the mood or the text that you want for the sound, and it's going to generate that sound. So it's going to be really exciting as to what year 2 in AI music is going to look like. And if you've liked what I've shared in this video, please subscribe to my channel, where I kind of talk about some of the most happening things, one of the most fun things that are happening in AI, and so that you can actually take that and kind of do whatever you want to. So if you're a music producer, if you're somebody who has interest in music or wants to do something with music, AI is democratizing what you can do with music here. And if you don't have the skills to play instruments, well, just use AI and go with it. So subscribe, like, and come back to the channel, and we're going to talk about more AI. Until I see you again, stay true, stay consistent.